Any questions? Yeah. What? Yeah.
I work at a facility and we're very focused on the recovery model. We're getting more impaired clients, and I see a difficulty in that shift in the need to address some of those underlying issues, because I feel if we send them out to work too soon and they haven't been stabilized on medication and received therapy, we set them up for failure. And I just wonder how that is reconciled with the recovery model. Okay, good.
I'll tell you about that recovery model. That was actually one of the frames I deleted for purposes. I do stand up to what I, philosophically, but I won't go there for this. But I'll answer that. In the recovery model, okay, and I'm not even comfortable. I'd like to see the word change. I think recovery. I want to see it in the growth model. I like to call it the growth model. We're always growing, okay, and even as we believe in the spirit and the soul, as we're moving on, we're always growing. Nothing stops, okay. And in that model, we believe that a person has to be able to fail. If we don't we learn from failure. It's not like we let people fail miserably, but we have to give people the opportunity to go out and try something, okay? And of course, what I found when I worked in a drug program for 6 years, and many people OD'd and died, is something that at that time, maybe because I was a little bit of a smart astronaut, okay, and I said, my people aren't going to get stages that quick, but when they get out there, we're going to really give them a lot of support and watch them. Because if they don't, they're going to fall miserably. Failure is a continuum. There's failing to learn, and then there's failing that where it's self-destructive. All right, and that's a whole area in of itself in the recovery model, in dealing with how we allow people, give them the opportunity to go out and empower them to do this. Because we've all failed, and that's what made us a better person. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. Awesome.
You want to see me break dance?
Yeah.
I'm too old for that now.
I highly doubt it. You mentioned a couple of points about politics. If you were to take on that conversation of politics, how would you apply these techniques?
Yeah.
How would you transform it, given that the structure is based on opposition and confrontation?
Let me have another minute. Okay, because I can't get all the models up here, but one of the models that I like, that I can make sense to me, is there's two models. One is the systems model. It's from family theory, Minuchin. Okay, and the other model is what we would call the differentiation model, Dr. Murray Bowen. Okay, I'll make it very quickly. Murray Bowen basically says that we all want to learn how to develop and differentiate ourselves to be a better person. We want to grow. We want to improve ourselves. And what they say is you want to basically attach and begin your communication with the person that's most receptive, most agreeable, most wanting to grow and to listen. So whenever you walk in, one thing you learn, when I used to do hypnosis presentations, which I will not do here, I would have to look in the crowd and find out who's going to be my best successive person. That's where I would pick. That person, I don't believe in hypnosis. Hypnotize me. That guy I'm not going to take. All right, it's not going to work. But if I take the person who is open to it, and I say, look, then everybody says, you know what? There's merit to it. The power of suggestion is powerful. I can really do this stuff. So it's really identifying the person that's most receptive. So when we do family therapy is like a little country. Families are like little countries. Okay? They're systems. That's what they base on. They're little countries. They come in. They like Dr. Ardeen said, everything that family walks in, that case that he gave you, brings in everything that a country has. The family brings in their whole country, right? They bring in their whole history. And now you're going to work with that. So the way we do therapy, Murray Bowen said, you know what? Find the one that's going to be most differentiated. The most is going to really want to work with. The one who's most motivated. They are going to pull up the rest. That's how you can do it. But like I think you said, you go after the bad guy, you're in the wrong direction. You got to go for the people that want to move in the healthy direction.
In reference to negative labeling, My father has an illness that he continues to refer to as his illness, and I keep saying to my dad, you gotta disassociate yourself from that. How can I approach him in a way that it makes sense to him? Says, maybe I shouldn't be labeling that my illness.
Well, again, it depends on the context of how he's discussing the illness. If the illness is motivating him, all right, then I would leave it alone. Okay, it depends on how the illness is affecting, your father. Now, the other question is, as we all know, how we have to look at ourselves, how it affects us. You know what I'm saying? So, if he's functioning very well, he just says, my illness, then I leave it alone. I just move on and talk about other things. It's kind of like I was at the table, with someone, we were having dinner, and someone started talking negative about someone. So I said, I'm not going to teach him to stop talking negative. So I said, well, it's time that we can do this. And then we just kind of slipped into it, all right? So it's kind of redirecting, refocusing, and stuff like that. Unless it's really, bringing him down in a great deal, then that's a whole other matter, okay?
I wanted to mention something about, maybe piggyback on what you said to this gentleman. Sometimes it helps to separate the illness from the individual by saying that your illness is more like a cold or a flu, and that's not you. So I because I'm also a psychotherapist, I work with that, paradigm, that is not you. Yeah.
I appreciate that you brought that up, because this is complementary to what we're talking about here, that we want to separate, you are not the illness. You may have this illness, but this is not your whole life. I want to conclude with this. There's a calendar. I'm sorry I didn't have enough. There's a calendar on some of your desks there, tables. This is all done by people who suffer chronic, mental illness, and they are artists, and they sell their work. And what we have found, we haven't published anything yet, is that there has been a remarkable change in the level of the sense of they've had increased medication compliance, less brushes with the law. In other words, we've seen dramatic changes in all kinds of behaviors because they have this component of their life that they can relate to. Okay?
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rubenstein.